What if almost every single spiritual and religious tradition across human history, from ancient shamans to modern mystics, all pointed to the exact same profound and utterly mind-bending truth, only for that truth to be systematically forgotten, suppressed, or even actively erased from our collective consciousness? Imagine a fundamental understanding of reality that was once so pervasive, so universally accepted, that its absence today leaves a gaping, unacknowledged hole in our spiritual fabric. This isn't just about believing in God or an afterlife. This is about an inherent, direct experience that some call cosmic consciousness, a state of being profound enough to reshape not only our personal lives but the entire trajectory of human civilization. But where did it go? To unravel this mystery, we need to journey back far beyond recorded history into the earliest expressions of human spirituality. Consider the ancient Egyptians with their intricate beliefs in an afterlife and the journey of the soul. Their pyramids weren't just tombs, they were cosmic machines designed to facilitate a transition, a conscious shift into another state of being, a state they believed was accessible to the initiated. Delve into Eastern philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism, where concepts like nirvana, moksha, and samadhi aren't abstract theological constructs, but descriptions of experiential states of unity, of oneness with the universe, cultivated through rigorous spiritual practice. The Upanishads, texts dating back thousands of years, speak in unmistakable terms of Brahman is Atman. The ultimate reality of the universe is identical to the deepest self within. This isn't metaphor, it's a statement about our true nature. Even indigenous tribes across the globe, from the Amazonian shamans to the Aboriginal Dreamtime, speak of an interconnected web of life, a living consciousness that pervades all existence, accessible through altered states, plant medicines, and ritual. These aren't isolated anecdotes, they are echoes of a consistent drumbeat across millennia, pointing to a shared human encounter with something vast, eternal, and deeply personal. It suggests that a state of awareness where the individual ego dissolves into a boundless sense of interconnectedness was not only possible but was perhaps fundamental to the human experience for a very long time. But if this cosmic consciousness was so prevalent, so central to ancient thought, then how did it become so marginal, almost esoteric in our modern world? The theories are as complex as they are disturbing. Some point to the rise of rationalism and the scientific method, which, while offering unparalleled advancements in understanding the material world, inadvertently sideline subjective, non-quantifiable experiences. If it couldn't be measured, weighed, or observed in a lab, it was deemed less real, less valid. The Age of Enlightenment, a period of immense intellectual progress, ironically dimmed the light on inner mystical experiences, favoring logic and empirical evidence above all else. Then there's the emergence of organized religion, particularly within Abrahamic traditions. While these religions undoubtedly contain mystical currents and speak of divine union, the institutionalization often led to a centralization of spiritual authority, a shift from direct experience to dogma, creed, and ritual. The individual seeker's direct access to the divine, a core tenet of cosmic consciousness, was often viewed with suspicion, even as heresy. Figures like Meister Eckhart, a medieval mystic, articulated ideas of divine union that bordered on pantheism, hinting at this universal reality, only to face considerable opposition from the Church. His writings, along with many others, had to be carefully worded, often cloaked in metaphor, to avoid condemnation. The Gnostics, an early Christian sect that emphasized direct spiritual knowledge over faith, were brutally suppressed, their texts burned, their voices silenced. This wasn't merely a theological disagreement, it was a battle over whether humanity's connection to the divine was an inherent birthright or mediated by an institution. Could it be that the very structure of society shifted, moving from horizontal, interconnected tribalism to hierarchical, centralized structures that benefited from a disempowered, spiritually dependent populace? Consider also the impact of industrialization and urbanization. As humanity moved into a more mechanistic, fast-paced, and materially driven existence, The quiet contemplation and deep connection to nature, often prerequisites for accessing these states, dwindled. The constant bombardment of modern life, the endless distractions, the focus on external achievements, all serve to drown out the subtle whispers of the inner self, the cosmic hum that once resonated so strongly. It's almost as if humanity collectively suffered from a form of amnesia, forgetting its deepest spiritual heritage for the sake of material advancement, or perhaps even worse, at the hands of those who sought to control the narrative. The very infrastructure of our consciousness, our capacity for profound inner experience, was subtly altered, reshaped by societal pressures and power dynamics. The modern mind, trained to categorize, analyze, and separate, began to perceive reality as fragments rather than an indivisible whole, losing the very lens through which cosmic consciousness could be recognized. What then was the consequence of this great forgetting? The biggest, most glaring void left by the disappearance of widely accessible cosmic consciousness is arguably the profound sense of alienation that pervades modern society. We feel disconnected from nature, from each other, and most tragically, from ourselves. This deep-seated feeling of separation manifests in countless ways: the rise of anxiety and depression, the insatiable pursuit of material possessions to fill an inner emptiness, the pervasive loneliness despite hyperconnectivity, and the endless search for meaning in a world that often feels arbitrary and meaningless. Without a direct experiential understanding of our interconnectedness, of our place within a vast, intelligent universe, we construct artificial narratives of purpose, often based on external validation or fleeting pleasures. This often leads to existential crises, a profound sense of not belonging, of being an isolated consciousness adrift in a vast, uncaring cosmos. The spiritual hunger, the innate human yearning for something more, doesn't simply vanish, it morphs. It expresses itself in cults of personality, in blind adherence to ideologies, in the frantic scramble for fame or wealth, attempting to replicate the feeling of significance that a connection to cosmic consciousness once provided effortlessly and intrinsically. It's like a person who has forgotten how to breathe naturally and now desperately gasps for air through artificial means, never quite feeling satisfied. The absence of this understanding also breeds conflict. If we truly experienced ourselves as extensions of a single universal consciousness, how could we possibly wage war, exploit the planet, or inflict suffering upon others? The us versus them mentality, the foundational cornerstone of so much human strife, would crumble under the weight of an undeniable felt reality of unity. It's a gaping wound in the collective psyche, the shadow cast by a lost truth. The individual, no longer anchored in a vast interconnected web, becomes an isolated island, vulnerable to the currents of meaninglessness. This isn't just about losing a spiritual concept. It's about losing a fundamental operating system for navigating reality, leading to a world where our outer achievements far outpace our inner wisdom. To this day, the echoes of cosmic consciousness persist, often in the most unexpected places. In the spontaneous mystical experiences reported by ordinary people, in the profound insights that occasionally break through during meditation or deep contemplative states, in the growing interest in psychedelics as tools for spiritual exploration, and in the resurgence of ancient wisdom traditions. Perhaps we are not meant to simply accept the amnesia, but to actively remember. The question remains, is it truly lost or merely dormant, waiting to be reawakened within us, individually and collectively? If humanity were to collectively rediscover this fundamental truth, that we are not separate but integral parts of one vast living consciousness, the implications would be nothing short of revolutionary. It could be the catalyst for a paradigm shift, a reframing of our relationship with the planet, with each other, and with ourselves. The path forward might not be in inventing something new, but in remembering something ancient, something that lies buried just beneath the surface of our modern, disconnected lives. Could the key to humanity's future lie hidden in its forgotten past? The answer perhaps resides within each of us, waiting for the courage to look beyond the veil of our conditioned reality, and reclaim a birthright that was never truly lost, only momentarily obscured. The journey to cosmic consciousness might not be an external quest, but an internal excavation, uncovering the profound truth that has always resided within. If you want more mysteries like this, the next video explores the strange case of collective dream phenomena and what it might reveal about our shared mindscape.